I'm a rock star. Every day I rock hard. I'm a motherfucking rock star. Every day I rock hard. I'm a rock star.
Hi Rockstars, I'm Aly, your Rockstar Bar Girl, and today's video is a collab video and it's all about serving in the industry. As you guys know, serving and bartending are definitely intertwined. You might be considering going into serving as a way to get into the hospitality industry, which is great. And there are some skills that you'll need to have and some things you might want to keep in mind if you're going down that path. If you're like me and you're going right into bartending, no matter what, at some point you are going to have to serve. You're going to have to take a table, you're going to have to come out from behind the bar, and when you do that, you want to feel comfortable and be ready. So I couldn't think of anyone better to help us with that than my former coworker and friend, Autumn. Before we get started, Autumn, of course, we need to have some drinks to sip on. I'm going to be making us my old-fashioned originalists, purists, cocktailers out there. Don't kill me. I prefer a muddled old-fashioned. And while I whip those drinks up, I am going to let Autumn introduce herself.
Alright, hi guys, my name's Autumn. I am originally from Tulsa, Oklahoma, born and raised. I moved here about 4 years ago on August 7th. So I started in the industry at 17 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it was, well, I started serving at 17. I started in the restaurant industry at 16. And it was a random, on a whim job that my parents were pressuring me to get a job because middle-class household. And I walked in and I was like, I'm looking for a job, are you guys hiring? And they were like, just to let you know, you need employees. And I was like, okay, didn't even go through an interview process.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
Right. I just walked in. They apparently needed someone that bad. There was only one other hostess at the time. Just got hired and a schedule like that day. And I've worked in the industry ever since. I currently work at a sports bar, beer garden, restaurant in Harlem, which is where I met my love. It was my first job and my only job I've had in New York City. I feel like I've grown up there. Started there when I was 19, and they put me as a server. And I now have 2 jobs, both of them serving. Although I've been behind the bar at my other job, but if I needed my own drinks, I can do it.
Like, have you been full-time while you're there? Are you working on other things in your life? Are you in school?
So I am a full-time employee. However, I'm also a full-time student. Since I've got here, have balanced 5 classes a semester and about 40 hours a week.
Holy crap.
Because, you know, anywhere you start, you have to walk in with essentially open availability. It's definitely my full-time job.
Right, yeah, that is a lot, for sure. Cheers! Alright.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think?
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
right?
actually so good.
Yes. So that is a huge time commitment. Are there things that you have done to help balance school and work life?
So when I first started, I was only available on nights and weekends, but I had open availability as far as nights and weekends, which was incredibly hard. Anywhere that you walk into, no matter what job it is, you're going to have the thought process that your schedule has to be relatively open because you're new. For the first, I would say, year, there was no balance. I never knew my schedule for the week because it was open, so they scheduled me wherever I fit in every week. My classes were all in the morning, I made sure of it. So, and then I would leave school, go home, normally change and go to work. And sometimes I would close and wake up the next day, go back to school and do the same thing that day. My management, at least, it was a little bit hard to talk about lightening my load. This is where I drew the line. I had finals and my manager scheduled me 8 closing shifts in a row. I bombed like one of my finals, and I went and I locked myself in the bathroom at my job and I bawled my eyes out and I called my mom. She was like, just leave. And luckily at the time, it was during Christmas time because it was finals in December. I was making bank, but at the cost of my sanity, at the cost of my grades. And then I got screwed over again because after finals, my manager took it upon herself to open my availability completely, thinking that, oh, you're definitely on break.
Right.
After that, I was like, screw this, I changed my schedule, and it's a controversial change, I think, to a lot of people because I don't work busy nights anymore. I don't work Friday nights and I don't work Saturday nights, which is normally what people fight for.
Right.
And the reason being is that it became so mentally stressful to me. Fridays and Saturdays are about flipping tables versus getting to know your tables versus talking. So you can flip so many tables and a third of those don't even tip you.
Right.
And you put in work and you're running and you're sweating and you're doing so much, and like you just have to like roll with the punches, because the minute that table that didn't tip you gets up, you can't even make your feelings about it because the next table sets down. I was working 4 times a week. I was making enough money to pay my rent and buy my groceries, and wasn't making the most money I could make to be doing that, but my mental anxiety lessened so much, and I was able to, I don't know, enjoy myself a little more and study and like live. And
So has bartending been something that you've been interested in and you've like decided against it because it doesn't work with your schedule?
Right.
Or is it just something that like seems uninteresting to you?
I love the bar scene. I am obsessed with developing my palate. I'm obsessed with everything bourbon and wine and all of it, but the hours just never, I could never. Even if you could tailor your schedule to just be weekends, like you're still giving up a lot of time. Yeah. And I need that time, and I do think people can do it. Aly, for example, has been able to navigate that bar scene and that school schedule like that and like really make it work. But I know myself.
Yeah.
I'm not an all-nighter person. Can't do it.
Yeah, see, I can't go to sleep before 7 a.m.
So as much as I love the bar scene, as much as I'm obsessed with bartenders and their knowledge and like advancing it, and I want to advance my palate, it's never been something that I could do because of my availability, and also because bartenders have such a small amount of coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so at my job, I have about 20-something coworkers.
Right.
If I need to give a shift up, or I need to take off, or whatever, I need to pick a shift up, it's relatively easy because there's so many people to choose from.
Right.
We have 20 servers. We only have like 5 or 6 bartenders.
Yeah.
6 bartenders. They have each other's backs so much.
They have to.
If someone gets sick at work in mid-shift, like they can easily call one of each other and one of them will come in. I'm not as available.
Which leads me to my next question, because I get this one all the time from you guys, and that's about drunk guys and rowdy customers cutting people off and how you deal with that. So have you ever dealt with, this is a stupid question, I know the answer is yes, but just for the purpose of the video, have you ever dealt with either inappropriate guests or drunk guests that you've had to cut off or shut down, and how have you handled that?
Well, first and foremost, I will say that one thing my job really does not do is cut people off. I found that, well, one of my ways to combat that was giving up busy nights. Part of the reason I did it was for my mental health, and to be honest, that completely is concurrent with the amount that I was getting aggressively hit on. Mm-hmm. Men would come in and it's almost demand your number. I've had men completely yell at me for not letting them touch me.
But men seem to feel like you're free game, and if you're working in hospitality, you're wearing all black, you're in a cocktail dress or what have you, that means that you're making yourself available. And obviously alcohol being a part of the mix doesn't make it any better. I will say that having the barrier of the physical bar does help a lot. And
I think with serving it's a little different.
Yeah.
We don't have the control that bartenders do. 9 times out of 10, I can't speak for every restaurant, but I know in most of my restaurant situations, the manager is on the server side. The first step is to give your table to somebody else.
As a manager, if there's something happening, I'm going to take my female server who's being harassed off that table, and I'm going to give you my burliest dude server. If you don't get to pick who your server is, and so we'll just switch them up on you. So definitely use your managers. So that is something to know about getting into serving. You're going to have people who are going to be inappropriate, and you don't have the barrier of the physical bar in front of you to keep you from that person. So you're going to want to be ready to stand up to that kind of behavior. I think we've talked a lot about the lifestyle of serving, things to keep in mind, things that you should know. So we're going to talk about some concrete tips to help you if you are looking to get into serving. One of the things that is a little bit different being on the floor than being behind the bar is knowing your food menu. As a bartender, you really should know everything really, really well, but I'll let you in on a little secret. A lot of times we don't, because obviously our focus is the cocktail program and the drinks. And so if there's anybody on the staff who doesn't know whether or not the spinach, you know, comes underneath the market fish, it's going to be the bartenders. As a server, you really need to be able to handle every single question about the menu. Are there any tips that you have for servers about knowing your menu?
I would honestly say it is more important for you to know what you can and cannot do with a menu item versus what's in it.
Oh my God, yes. That is a great tip. Focus with your trainer on what modifications can be done and what can be done, and as you learn that, that will fill in all the other blanks. Obviously you have to learn the whole menu at some point, but stuff like that will absolutely speed you up.
New Year's, around New Year's time, is the most important time to know what you can do with the menu. Everyone goes out to eat with their new diet.
Oh, I never thought of that. Yes.
For me, the biggest thing that I've learned that really does appeal to a lot of our customers, learning how to make things vegan, learning how to sell things that can be vegetarian.
All right, guys, so our delivery Indian food has arrived and we're hungry and we want to eat. So before we wrap this video up, we're going to cover one more tip of serving, which is carrying plates and carrying trays. And specifically, somebody asked me the other day, like, my wrists are dying. How do you carry trays without going crazy? So what I had sent to them, and let me know if you do this too, is a lot of times newbies will carry their tray flat on their hand like this. This is going to put a lot of strain on your wrist, and it isn't even really super secure. So one thing someone taught me a while ago that's always been really helpful is to cup your fingers and really balance your tray on your fingertips. This gives you more leverage to lift up and down through big crowds without putting a lot of stress on your wrist, and it's actually way more secure because your fingertips are way stronger than the palm of your hand. I don't know if you carry your tray that way.
I do. Whenever I first started at 19, I carried my trays like this.
Not gonna work. So definitely cup your hand. Someone was asking me like, oh, my wrist is really hurting. You don't have to carry your tray like this. You can hold it down low. Holding your tray up high is really helpful for getting through a crowd, because that's a great way to keep it from getting knocked. But if you're just walking to a table, you can hold it low. So one thing that is not obvious is how to carry multiple plates. So I brought out 3 plates for Autumn to show us how she, when running food, would hold 3 plates in her hands.
So, okay, let me teach you the first lesson in holding 3. Use the least hot plate to put in your hands. If it's a salad, if it's a guacamole, or whatever, that's what you need to use in this hand. Because this is already uncomfortable. You don't want it to be like wiggly wobbly because it's hot. So it needs to be the least hot plate in this hand.
So you've got 3 fingers under the plate.
3 fingers under.
And then your thumb and your pinky on top of it.
Next, your palm of your hand and your wrist. This will hold up your next plate. And the reason you want this to be like your least populated plate is because this plate is going to overlap with this one. If I had a big old like stick or like a big thing of mash, this plate's going to get on top of that. So you need to make sure that this plate is your least populated plate. This one will stay steady on your palm and your wrist. Then you've got your whole forearm still available. You want to kind of keep your arm out so whatever's on here won't wiggle. Some people are able to stack it, but these plates are not the same, so I can't really say to do that. But yeah, so this can balance between the crook of your elbow if you use it as an angle, and it'll stay up. This does get heavy, and this is how you build arm muscle. Towels, always have a towel. And if you are not comfortable holding 3 on your arm, 2 here and 1 here.
Yes, that is such a great tip. Thank you guys for joining me in this video. Thank you so much, Autumn, for being a part of this video. For those of you who are looking to become servers, or if you're bartenders and just want to make sure you're ready for having to serve tables, make sure to like it if you found it helpful. Leave comments below if you have questions for myself or questions for Autumn. And of course, subscribe. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye, Rockstars.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
I'm a rock star.